that, heard that? Anybody been around the block tonight with a show of hands about the story of Elijah and Elisha? I heard it many times. I heard it in Sunday school. I heard it in Bible classes. I heard it on the radio. I heard it from my pastor. I heard it from evangelists. I've read about it. I've examined it. I've even preached it. And every time that I've always heard about, read about, studied about, or myself personally preached about Elijah and Elisha, you probably gonna know this. I've always talked about it and heard it from the standpoint that wherever you saw Elijah, you are also going to see Elisha. That there was a story of two men that were functioning and cooperating together, and anywhere that Elijah went, Elisha got up and he went with this man of God. He was on him like white on rice. And as a matter of fact, that there were particular times that you would see that Elisha did not even have to go with Elijah. It wasn't a requirement, but he knew that Elijah possessed something so dynamic until he went with him when he didn't even have to go. You know, that the step that makes people go from goodness to greatness is not that they do what they're supposed to do. It's when they start doing what they don't even have to do. The reason that some people are just going to be stuck on good and never go on to greatness, to a double portion, is because they're only going to do what's required of them. But there are some people like Elisha that even what they do not have to do, even when they said you don't have to come, you don't have to be here, that Elisha was told, he said you don't have to go. Elijah said, I'm going to Bethel, which means a house of God. You can stay here. But Elisha said, no. He said, I'm not going to wait for you to get back from Bethel and tell me about miracles and signs and wonders. He said, if it happens, buddy, he said, I'm going to be there with you. He kept testing and he kept over and over. You know the story. He would try him and he would say, listen, he said, the Lord is sending me to Jericho. And Elisha, you don't have to go. We'll get back together in a couple of days. He said, you stay here. I'll meet you in the middle of the week and we'll do breakfast somewhere together. I'll be back in a certain amount of time. But Elisha said, He said, because I know what's going to happen. If the Lord is sending you down to Jericho, you're going to go down to Jericho and God's going to do some amazing stuff. And I don't want somebody calling me, telling me, oh, you should have been here. You should have saw. He said, I want to see it with my own two eyes. I want to hear it with my own two ears. You understand what I'm telling you? That trying to get full off of somebody else telling you about what happened and you not being there is like trying to get full watching somebody else eat. It don't help you unless you are in. And Elisha said, I want to be involved. So everywhere we went, he said, I need to get going on in my life what is happening in this man's life. Are you with me now to understand that Elisha had a good busybody spirit? There's some kind of folks that I don't know about you, but they'll irk you a little bit. That's people that always want to be in your business. Okay, I'm going to try over here. There's people that when you pull up, they pull up their blinds and they wonder, I wonder where she's been at today. I wonder how much money they paid for that. They always, you know, some people don't have enough going on in their own life until they want to get in your life. If they was really fighting a good fight of faith and they were struggling and realizing what it takes to get to heaven, they realize I don't need to know what you're involved in. I got enough devils to fight my own self. I don't need to peek out my blinds. I don't need to listen into your cell phone conversation. I got my own junk going on. Now, you understand what I'm telling you? That some people just, if they can get as busy about their own business as they are everybody else's stuff, it ain't no telling what they would do. But Elisha was busy, but he wasn't busy necessarily about just Elijah's business. He wanted to know, what is God doing in your life? He was picking out the vines wondering, Elijah, what's going going on with God. You got a God in your life. And here's what happened. He messed around and followed Elijah down to a place called Jordan. And when they get to the Jordan River, they can't go over it. There's no bridge. There's no barns. There's no way to get over this thing. But Elijah pulls out a mantle and smites the waters. And the God Jehovah backs up the Jordan River here and here. Sees what God does, and Elijah just walks over on dry ground. And Elisha, who's been following this guy, he says, I'm going over too. He didn't pray and ask God to get it over. He never pulled a mantle out, done anything. He was just in the right place at the right time, following the right person. And he said, you know what? He said, sometimes it pays just to hang around the right people. I feel one coming on here. Do you realize that sometimes God can give you a measure of blessing that you didn't even ask for or pray for, but all you have to do is show up to the right church on Tuesday night and sit down with the right person. And you might not be doing anything, but if you sit there by Elijah, who starts waving their hand, some of what Elijah's doing is going to get off on you, and when he walks over, you just need to say, hey, I'm coming through here with you. I don't read where Elisha was necessarily doing anything to merit the Jordan River opening up, but there is a measure of blessing that comes to attending the right church. There is a measure of blessing that can get on your life just when the right song is sung and the right sermon's preached, and you ain't done anything but show up to the right place at the right time, and if you ain't careful, you'll step right into a miracle. Oh, my Lord. I don't read where he was doing a lot of praying. I don't read where Elisha was doing a lot of things, but he was hanging around a person who was doing some praying, who was doing the right thing, and he just followed the right person right on into the other side of a miracle. But here's what I come to preach, because I've always preached up to that point like that, but I never fully understood what I'm going to preach to you tonight, is that I know that Elijah always got there because he held on to Elijah. I know that he got into particular blessings because he was in the right place at the right time, holding on to the right person, Elijah. But here's the rest of the story, as Brother Paul Harvey said. When he got to the other side of the Jordan River, he gets over here and Elijah gets raptured up into heaven in a whirlwind. He's gone. And Elisha is left standing here with a closed up river. The miracle has appeared to cease. And Elisha's standing here with nothing but a mantle in his hand, thinking, how in the world am I going to get out of this mess I'm in now? Because Elijah done prayed me into this and got me over here, and now he's gone. He has left me. And the only way I'm going to get back over what Elijah has got me over with to begin with is I need another miracle to take place. Now you're going to miss some stuff, but don't miss what I'm going to tell you right now, is that anytime God starts something in your life, it's going to take the same God to keep what he started going. One of the greatest problems apostolics have is that they think they can get the Holy Ghost one time and have prayed one time and have had an experience one time and spoken in tongues one time and got baptized one time, and now they don't need anything else. Come in. Whenever you come through that door, you just getting started. The same God that got you in is going to have to keep you in. You need to be praying tonight just like you did when you first saw the light. You need to be weeping tonight just like you did the first time you walked down